Hello and welcome to today's Daily Prelims Practice session. Today, we will be taking up certain important MCQs based on The Hindu Daily edition dated 18th February 2023 and the Indian Express of the same date. The topics which are to be discussed have been displayed on the screen and the timestamping of the same has been provided in the description box below. So, our first question is in relation to the B20 conference. The immediate context of this very news article was that recently a B20 conference was hosted by the state of Manipur, whereby the state showcased its strengths and opportunities for the multilateral business partnerships in various sectors. Now, when we analyze the previous year question papers, almost every year there are 2 to 3 questions which are related to the events of the current national as well as international importance. For example, in 2017, UPSC has asked the question in relation to the Asia Pacific Ministerial Conference on Housing and Urban Development. So, try to attempt this particular question and test that how much you are aware about these issues. There are 2 statements given and you have to find the correct statement. However, coming to today's question, DPP, question number 1. The B20 conference often mentioned in news is related to. There are 4 options given and you just have to find the correct ones. Option A says that it is a conference held between the government heads and the business delegates at the WTO platform. No, this is incorrect because B20 conference has to deal with G20 summit. So if you see all these options, there is just one option which mentions G20 as its component. It says that it is the official G20 dialogue forum with the global business community. And that is why option C is the correct answer. Now such type of questions help you to save your time because if you are aware that B20 has to do something with G20, then you need not to read all the options. You just have to find that key term G20. And if there is just one option mentioning G20, then obviously that would be the correct answer. Yes, the confusion would have been if there is more than one statement which mentions G20. Then you were required to look for the subject of that statement. But out of all these options, just one option has G20 and obviously you can fast tick this particular question. Now coming back to the previous year question. Answer to this particular question is option D, neither one nor two. Now we shall move towards DPP question number 2. The question is in relation to the parliamentary privileges. If you people are reading the newspapers regularly, then you must have come across this very news article that recently Rahul Gandhi has stood by his statement which he made during his speech, and against him a charge of breach of privilege was raised by the Bharatiya Janata Party. So yeah, this is a political issue, but what is breach of privilege and what are parliamentary privileges? This becomes important when it comes to the prelims examination. Because again, in 2016 and more often almost every year, in polity section, questions are related to the parliamentary powers, proceedings, rules, regulations, etc. Like in 2016, the question was asked in relation to the parliamentary power to legislate on any item in the state list. So try to attempt this question also. Coming to today's DPP question number 2. Statement says, consider the following statements regarding the parliamentary privileges in India. There are 2 statements given and you have to find the correct pair. It extends to all the members of the parliament, Attorney General of India and the President. This statement is incorrect because parliamentary privileges extend to all the members of the parliament, Attorney General, committees, but it does not extend to the President. Despite the fact that President is a part of the parliament, but still the parliamentary privileges do not extend to him. President has his own powers and privileges. Statement 2 says they are codified under a special act passed by the parliament. Again, parliamentary privileges have not been codified yet, and therefore both the statements are incorrect and option D, neither one nor two, is the correct answer. As far as previous year question is concerned, option D is the correct answer, and this is mentioned in Article 249 of the Indian Constitution. Next question is in relation to the body National Green Tribunal, that is NGT. and has appeared in the context that recently NGT has posed heavy penalties on the Delhi government for the poor waste management and their handling capabilities. Now, again, the bodies which are there to deal with the environmental affairs in our country are important. For example, UPSC has asked the question in relation to the NGT as well as the Central Pollution Control Board. So, environmental regulatory bodies are important and hence try to attempt this particular question on your own. We will discuss its answer after this particular question. Let us see today's question. The question says consider the following statements with reference to the National Green Tribunal. The NGT is bound by the procedure laid down under the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. This statement is incorrect. The reason being, NGT is guided by the principles of natural justice, and that is why it is not bound by the Code of Civil Procedure. Statement 2 says that the chairperson of the NGT shall be appointed by the central government in consultation with the Chief Justice of India. Factually correct statement. The Act provides for the appointment of chairperson in such a manner. Statement 3 says that decision of the tribunal is binding and cannot be challenged in the Supreme Court. Again, this statement is factually incorrect, and that is why option B, 2 only, is the correct answer. As far as the answer to the previous year question is concerned, option B, 2 only, is the correct answer. Now let us have a look on DPP question number 4. This question is in relation to the Election Commission's power to deal with the symbols of various political parties. The immediate context of this very news article is the recent rivalry between two important political parties in the state of Maharashtra. However, more often, whenever there is a split in a major political party and there are 2 or 3 factions which get formed out of that party, this issue regularly appears now and then in newspapers. So that is why we need to be aware about the powers of the Election Commission, that what are the real powers with the constitutional body to deal with such issues. Now again, such constitutional bodies are very important. Moreover, such subjects which regularly appear in newspapers are also important. For example, previous year UPSC has asked the question in relation to the Election Commission, and it also had come up with the issues or disputes relating to the splits or mergers of the recognized political parties, because this is also one of the issues which regularly appears in Indian political system. So try to attempt this question. As far as today's question is concerned, there are 3 statements given and you have to find the correct statement. Statement 1 says, the Election Symbols Reservation and Allotment Order 1968 has empowered the Election Commission to allot the symbols at elections for parliamentary and assembly constituencies. Yeah, this statement is factually correct statement because this particular order provides this thing. Statement 2 says conditions for the recognition of the national and state political parties have been provided under Election Symbols Reservation and Allotment Orders 1968. Again, factually correct statement. Third says, in relation to the splinter groups or rival sections of a recognized state political party, each of whom, now this state is important, state political party, each of whom stakes their claim to the common symbol, the final decision of the State Election Commission shall be binding. Now, this statement is incorrect because it is not the State Election Commission. The election to the central and state are dealt with the Central Election Commission. State Election Commission are for the local bodies. Therefore, third statement is incorrect and 1 and 2 are correct, and therefore option D is the correct answer. As far as the answer to the previous year question is concerned, option D, 3 only, is the correct answer. Now moving to the question number 5. As you all are aware about the recent earthquake which has hit the state of Turkey and the devastation which it has caused there. So this question has been formed out of that context, and obviously now you can guess the answer also very easily because I have mentioned Turkey in the context itself. But an important thing which is to be understood in this particular question is that in previous year, UPSC has asked location-based questions also, and these questions are very important. And more often, the locations which are asked in the prelims examination are from the current affairs only. For example, the question was asked in relation to the Golan Heights, and you were to find that which is the region which has this Golan Heights. So this was Middle East. Similarly, in Turkey also, the epicenter was in the city of Gaziantep. So that is why such locations become very important. The area known as Gaziantep recently in the news is located in which of these countries? Obviously, A, Turkey is the correct answer. So be very clear whenever you are reading your newspapers or the magazines, there are certain locations which are very important in the news. So go for it. So that was all for today. All the very best and study hard.